What brought you to Providence?
That's a long story.
I want to hear it.
Well, I was laid off on my last job, and I was there for like 24 and a half years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was 2009 when we were in that recession. So you kind of knew. And then I thought, okay, Mary, you're going to get that call. And sure enough, it came. So as my boss was talking to me, he was crying. He didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. I just knew, okay, God's changing my telephone number. That's what he's doing.
That's great.
And who better to change it? If I change it, I'm going to break it. It's not going to work. But if he changes it, everything is set up. Because I had been on the job for so long, there were new things out there, new computer things, new skill sets. And so as I was applying for jobs, I kept getting rejected. No. And so one of the staff members at the unemployment place said, hey, why don't you go back to school? And I thought, okay, I could do that. So I ended up going back to school for a year.
What did you go to school for?
I've always been in the administrative field,
Okay.
But I went back for medical administrative assistant, which is
Okay.
totally different. And I remember sitting in my car. I had just filled out all the paperwork, and I'm thinking, okay, Mary, you're old as Methuselah, and you're going to be competing with these youngsters. The school was like 8 to 3 every single day. Medical. I was studying for a test, and it was pretty intense. And I mean, I just crammed the whole night. The test was that morning. This teacher, she was on it. I mean, you don't play with her. And thank goodness I wasn't sitting in the front of the class. She gave me the test, gave everybody the test. She went back up front. I sat down. I was writing out my answers, doing pretty good. Because I had been up all night, I went to sleep. I went to sleep.
Like your head on the table?
No, I just put my head down or something. I went to sleep for at least 15 to 20 minutes. I woke up and I still had enough time to finish that test. I don't know how I did it.
Wow.
2 days later, I thought, okay, Mary, you blew it. Just forget it. You're flunked. I got that test back. I got a 92 on that test.
No way.
Yes. So I said, oh, my goodness. And then I ended up doing very well in the course. I finished up the school year. I was let go 2009. In 2010, I graduated, and I was looking for employment. I ended up getting Providence in October. I remember looking at their mission, and I thought, well, I love that mission. And so I applied. They called, and here I am 8 years later.
How do you take care of yourself? How do you shore up?
I shore up with God every day. Outside of my work environment, I'm a minister. That's my life's vocation. How about yourself? What do you do?
So I am a graphic designer by trade. Got into design just because I always kind of felt creative. I went to school, and they had a letterpress shop at the school's old print shop. And I thought, like, I really want to do that. That looks really cool. Like, I want to learn how to do typography and set things by hand. At the time that I had started school, my boss, she was a dear friend of mine, kind of like a surrogate mom, and she passed away really suddenly. So I had a 3-year-old daughter, like crazy young family. It was in my late 20s. And I've had like a lot of loss and death in my life. And it was a really weird part of my life where like I was learning creativity and design, and then there was a lot of grief and a lot of birth and like all these things. It was just this weird explosion of, I don't know how to describe it. I was really drawn to like wanting to know more about the end of life. And one of the experiences I had was when my friend died, we had to go to the funeral home. They pull out like this book, like the stationery.
Right.
And I remember thinking, why is it so ugly? Why is all this stuff like really not like, there's nothing in there that reminded me of my friend. Like she was this beautiful woman and like she wore Prada shoes. She was super classy. And I'm like, I didn't want to put her name on something with like an American flag and like a sepia tone looking thing,
Right.
So I thought like I want to design something that actually like really felt like her. And so I did, and I didn't even have the technical skills to do it, but I, got a couple friends, and that experience of doing that, I like her name and dates were
right.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
Like when you see someone's name and dates on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I understand.
Sorry, so that was huge.
Yeah.
And I realized that I'm like, that's important.
It is.
So
important.
I kind of wanted to do that. It took me 10 years to actually decide, like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to shut my business down. And then I'm going to take the next few years and just kind of start doing it. Right. So I've been doing a hospice volunteer for 2 years. And it's been like an incredible experience through Providence.
I believe it's a calling. I really believe it's a calling.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I didn't expect to cry.
It's okay. I understand. Yeah. It's okay to cry. God catches the tears.
I don't get to have conversations like this often with a stranger.
I know.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
My
too.
new best friend.
Yeah, right.